All right, what's up, guys? Palutena's Army episode 15, 16. Is it? Oh God, I think it's 16. 16, I'm gonna say. I'm Adrian. I got Chris, otherwise known as ItsAllGoodie, on every other social media board. How are you?
That's right. Hey, I'm good. Feeling good. First time on here, right?
Yes, it is. And we got Jeff, otherwise known as ReviewGuru. He's been on a couple times.
Hey, what's up?
This is your last podcast for a while.
Yeah, last one for a while.
He's going off to college. Good old Jeff is growing
that
up.
whole college thing.
He's gonna go get wasted and party like it's no other day. Your roommate is a partier too, so good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right. So since you guys are both not on the website, I don't know where Vane is. I've lost him. He is. I've asked him, like, hey, you gonna record? He's like, oh, I got a tournament. Apparently he played a Halo tournament the other day and won, even though everyone knows, who listens to this podcast knows he doesn't like Halo. So I don't know why he played in the tournament to begin with.
No, he loves Halo.
Yeah, apparently. But, yeah, he's gone. Hopefully we get him back next week. For the site, it's been slow because basically I told everyone last week about the whole ordeal that we got hacked, but I ended up, because that was the first time I dealt with anything like that. Because of that, I ended up deleting a lot of stuff I didn't need to, and the website was broken in a lot of spots. I didn't want to have to go in and fix it all, so I just deleted the website and rebuilt it all like in 2 days. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's almost back up to running. I still need to fix up a few things, and we'll see where that goes. But the only thing I did this week, I posted Toy Soldiers Cold War review. That was a good game. I don't know, like, it was the first game in a while that made me feel like I didn't know if I would spend $15 on that game. Every other game, it's like, all right, well, I could see who this goes to, but I mean, like, it improved on Toy Soldiers, the original one, but it's $5 more, so I don't know. It was a good way to end the summer of arcade, though, I guess. Better than Fruit Ninja, I suppose. And yeah, there you go. There's all the website stuff in the first 2.5 minutes of the podcast.
Yeah. All wrapped up. Speeding right along here.
Yeah, I know.
It's very efficient.
Yeah, like all the first podcasts were like progressively like longer and longer. Now they're just getting shorter and shorter. So I don't know what's the ordeal with that.
Well, come this fall, I'm sure that they're going to be a lot longer with all the games coming out.
That's right.
I would hope, at least. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to afford any of those games. I would hope if I can get one.
You can at least talk about them and say what you think about them.
If I get to play them too. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm going to hope I get some of them.
You have to at least get Gears 3. That's
I know.
very important.
I want Gears 3 so bad.
I'm looking forward to Battlefield 3 pretty badly, so we'll have to wait on that one and see how that turns out.
On 360 or PC?
360, just because I own a MacBook and it's not quite powerful enough to run a PC game.
Yeah, have you heard about what happened at Gamescom with Battlefield 3?
No.
Apparently, like, Battlefield 3 would, like, I think it, like, 20% of the PCs that were running it got fried because of Battlefield 3.
Oh, wow.
That's rumor, I guess, but that's what I'm reading around, so it looks like a beast of a game.
Are they, like, the most up-to-date stuff?
They're supposed to be, like, I mean, it was DICE showing that off, so or EA or whoever, but, I mean, you would assume that they would get the best computers to run that, but it still got fried. I don't know if it was a thing with the...
Or they can just show off and get, like, Windows 95 computers and try showing that off.
That's right. They probably just took the ones out of their grandmother's basements and brought those, because then they wouldn't have to pay for them.
Do you think there's anyone out there running Windows 95 right now, like, legitimately?
You'd be surprised. I've known people who work at retirement homes, like, fixing all the old people's computers, and they have stuff like Windows 95, like the early versions of Mac, all that stuff.
That blows my mind.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Because I don't know, like, it's like having an old TV, I guess, but then again, I guess I can see why old people would hold on to those.
Yeah. My parents just switched, I think, this year to a flat screen. They used to have an old, huge, gigantic TV.
Yeah, we just barely switched our main TV in our, like, living room from a tube TV to a plasma TV, so...
How's that treating you?
It's a slow transition, I guess. We really like it, but obviously my dad is too stingy to go out and buy HD service, so we're still just watching like crappy low quality TV on a really nice TV now. But
you know what?
it is what it is, I guess.
My parents bought a Blu-ray player, and it has Netflix, Blockbuster, Pandora, plays Blu-rays and DVDs. It's really nice.
That's the next step, is to convince them to get a Blu-ray player.
The funny thing is once, like, they'll be stingy before they change it, but the second you do change it for like a day, they're totally willing to go for it. Like I know. That's
what I keep telling him, is that once he changes, he'll never be able to go back. And he's like, then I just won't change. That way I don't have to worry about it.
Like I know a bunch of older people who stuck to dial-up, and they were convinced they didn't need anything past that, but then they go to like broadband or DSL the second like after that, and they can't go back to dial-up. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I can't even like begin to fathom how slow dial-up would feel after being on DSL.
Have you never used dial-up like back in the day, or?
No, we did, but just it was so long ago. I can't even think about how terrible it would be to go back to that.
I guess like I remember back in the day, like I never complained about it. Like it never just like bothered me, but I mean, like I don't want to go back and see how long I had to wait for a JPEG to or like even load or something.
Yeah, can you imagine trying to like upload audio files to a website, like a podcast like this? Oh my God, take all night.
Yeah, so one of our friends, Samuel, he's been on here a few times. He had dial-up on his first like couple years of YouTube, and he would have every time he would have to upload a video, he would just spend all day uploading it.
Oh, I'm sure. It's so terrible.
It's ridiculous. So Gamescom happened. So the PS3 had a price drop. Is anyone feeling that?
PS3 price drop. I don't know. I think it's kind of weird that their PS3 is now the same price as their new handheld. I don't know. I think that's a bit weird.
I agree. I also think that it's a little late to be trying to sell more PS3s.
Oh, no. So you think that. Did you also hear that there's a new PSP model coming to Europe?
That I missed.
Yeah,
that as well.
Apparently there's a new PSP, like a slimmer PSP coming to Europe.
How can you get slimmer? I don't get that.
I don't know why.
Because we've all learned that the PSP sells so well that we might as well release a new iteration of it, right?
Granted, the PSP is doing better than, well, it did better than 3DS before the price drop, but I don't know, the Vita's like pretty much around the corner.
I know, that's what I'm confused about. Why wouldn't you just be focusing on, working on the Vita?
If I'm a consumer, I'm looking at both the PS3 and PS Vita, I'm going to go with the PS3 because there's more games. The games have better quality, better online service. That's all better for the same price as the Vita.
That's true, but I still feel like the Vita's a good price for what we get.
I'm not saying that the Vita's a bad price. I'm just saying that
it'll look weird.
Console and they're portable at the same price.
Yeah, no, it'll look weird.
I agree. Obviously, they're both meant to do a different type of gaming. Although personally, I've found myself moving more towards gaming on handhelds. I mean, I'm one of the 8 people in all of America that bought a 3DS.
Oh, don't worry, I'm one of the 8.
Yeah, and I really like it. Like I just really like Zelda: Ocarina of Time is my favorite game that's ever been made anywhere. And so, of course, if Nintendo had come out and said we're releasing this game and you can have it for $250, God knows I would have paid the $250 for it. So I don't have any withdrawals there. But it is weird to think about that for that price I could have gotten the PS3, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel about both of the two different systems being on the same price point. It is a little odd.
I don't think the PS3 necessarily needed a price drop. I really don't think it did.
Well, Microsoft might end up undercutting them again, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think it's also getting bundled with Infamous 1 or 2. If it's 1, I really don't. I got it for the.
Isn't a used Xbox without a hard drive like $100 now?
Yeah, but don't buy a used Xbox. I know Xboxes take like $100 to make now, so Microsoft wouldn't have a problem dropping the price, but I think they're going to evaluate how well the PS3 is doing before they price drop it.
Of course.
All right, and then there's that. What else happened? Apparently, Infamous is getting some Red Dead type DLC where it's like all weird. It's vampires with Infamous 2 now, which that sounds decent.
It sounds interesting within how the game works.
Apparently, it'll be standalone also if you want to just download it for like I don't know, they haven't said a price, but I assume it'd probably be $20.
I would have to think if it's going to be standalone and you don't need the game, it's got to be at least $20, right?
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
I'm kind of jealous of that because I don't own any Sony products. Well, I guess I own a PlayStation 2, but that doesn't really count.
There.
Yeah, but yeah, I would like to play all of the PS3 only titles, Uncharted and Infamous and whatnot, but I keep just kind of putting off buying one because I don't really want to drop that kind of money. So I don't know.
It's because the second we want to get one of those, like a big third party game comes out, and we end up just sinking money in there.
That's right.
Here's the thing: if the PS3 ever goes down to $200, then yeah, definitely buy it.
Yeah, agreed. Especially as a Blu-ray player alone, paying $200 for any console that plays Blu-rays would be, a good deal. But
yeah, and also the PS3 can act as your entertainment system because it's Netflix. It has a bunch of other stuff that has a lot of social media on it. Of course, it plays games. It's all HD. It's just like your perfect entertainment setup system right there.
It's a good price and it's a good value, but just because I have a 360 right now, it's like I don't see too much justification yet.
I'm in the same boat. From the 360 PS3, your only draw is that you can play Blu-rays on it, but that's really it. You can do everything else on the 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right. If you're looking to buy like a home entertainment center to put and let's say that you don't have your Xbox on your main TV or whatnot, obviously a PS3 would be a decent option there because it does have, like you said, all of the other applications as far as Netflix, and does it have Hulu Plus on it?
Yes,
I believe
it does.
I believe so.
Yeah, because that's the other thing with the Netflix monthly charge going up. I've been looking to switch that over to potentially having Hulu Plus.
The good thing
on our TV, and it has applications on the TV now. Samsung has done that, but it doesn't have a Hulu Plus application, which makes me really angry.
Yeah.
I don't really mind the price hike in terms of Netflix. Adrian, I'm not sure if you've talked about that in other podcasts or not.
I don't think we have. Explain this to me. It's basically the same price if you're streaming, but if you want a DVD, it's going up $7.
I think it's the opposite. The DVD price is the same. If you want streaming, it goes up. The streaming, it's like an extra, $5 or $6, something like that. Which for what you get with the streaming is 150% worth it.
We need to fact check this, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure that Adrian's right. I think it's the other way around because.
Let me look it up. I heard it was like a price hike for streaming.
One of them is a price hike, but I thought it was the DVDs because they're trying to get rid of DVD services altogether.
Well, yeah, they're trying to kind of slim down how many DVDs they have to ship out, and two, hopefully just kind of knock people down and potentially get all to streaming at one point. I heard a fact somewhere, I don't remember where I heard it, but something, that most people just don't think about.
Here's what they're doing. I just looked it up. The service plan used to be, it was $10 a month for unlimited DVD and streaming, and now it's going to be two separate plans. You can either get a DVD plan or a streaming plan, which are each $8, and you can get a combo plan for $16. So technically, if you want to keep everything the same, you're paying an extra $6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and the reason I think that they're adding on to, that is because they're, as I said, I think I heard the fact that they're the company that ships the most mail out of any company in the United States.
Yes.
I mean, they ship, you think about it, they ship, if you're sending a DVD in, it takes 2 days and they send a new one out. And they do that for every customer that sends one in. So
and even those customers...
That's a shit ton of mail.
The DVD portion, I use the streaming portion. We get well worth our money out of it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a good service if you're doing streaming. I don't see there's until they can make it so that every DVD it's available is also available for streaming. I can see people complaining about that.
Yeah, but if you're willing to really look into these obscure movies that they have on here, it's a really great service, because if you're just going to go on the streaming and look for, like, the most popular stuff, you're not going to find a lot. But if you really look and you try different things, you try to see new movies that you've never seen before, you can find some really awesome stuff in this.
Yeah. I know, because everyone knows my internet is really bad. I believe it's because of the wiring in the house, because it wasn't made that well. But if I can fix that, I think I can end up convincing everyone here to drop the cable and just get Hulu Plus and Netflix for cheaper than what cable is every month.
Yeah, I plan on never using the cable. I'm just going to use Netflix.
Yeah.
That's how I was. I just finished my first year at school, and literally every day I was streaming something onto my TV from my Netflix account. And it's great because my parents were back home paying for it and still using the service, and I got to use it at school and not having to worry about,
that's exactly what I'm doing
myself each time. So yeah, it's definitely great for that. And I agree that even though the price hike kind of came out of nowhere and there was no, they didn't warn anybody about it really. It's definitely an understandable, upping. It's just kind of annoying the way that it happened, I guess.
I forget who or where I read it, but apparently the streaming, I guess how much they had to pay to companies to stream is pretty much like just went through the roof. Apparently, I think it was like 200 or 300 million to pay for their streaming services, like Netflix pay every company to stream their movies. I think it went up to like $2 billion this last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because streaming just got so popular. I could see why though. I can Netflix and Hulu Plus are pretty much what's going to be the end of cable, I think.
Oh, for sure. It's just a matter of time. It's definitely a waiting game.
I don't think I've watched. The only time I actually watch TV is to watch the news. I never watch any TV shows ever.
Don't you also watch South Park on there?
On Netflix?
On TV?
I did that for like 1 or 2 episodes, and I'm like, screw it, there's southparkzone.com.
Yeah. But no, it's still...
The only show that I ever tune into on cable is The Office, and that is on Hulu for free the day after if I miss it. So you're absolutely correct. If we were to just get rid of cable here, I probably wouldn't really have any problems with that.
I think the only thing that's going to keep a lot of people is until HBO goes. Because HBO Go is coming around, but it still requires cable. But I know so many people who would drop cable the second HBO Go became a separate service.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I don't know what else came out of Gamescom.
Much.
I hear it was pretty big, but I don't know, the typical stuff. You're basically seeing what's coming around. Has anyone seen the new Halo Anniversary maps?
I haven't checked one thing on Halo Anniversary.
So
yeah, I completely 100% second everything that he just said.
Yeah, are you guys interested in the game at all, or is that just me?
Not a whole lot.
I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it because I want to concentrate on college, but I'm interested in it.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been able to get into Halo, just the way that it all works. And I know that there's, everybody listening is going to be disappointed in the fact that I'm saying this. But just the mechanics of the game really annoy me for the most part. I don't like how long it takes to kill anybody. I don't like the way that people move or the way that anything is set up. I'd rather be working more as a team, and usually everybody just runs around on their own. Just don't like how the game plays.
Here's the solution to that, and I found this out over this last week. Never play Halo by yourself. I found it's not enjoyable. Play Halo with a bunch of friends. It is the best time you'll ever have.
If anything,
you're right. When we have Halo custom games, I always enjoy myself.
Because I know, because me, Jeff, and another friend of ours, Chris, we didn't even play Halo. We were playing every other game mode besides typical Halo. We were playing Infection. We were playing Griffball. We were playing Action Sack, and it's like there's a lot of different games in there. But I can see that.
I could play Infection for days straight without getting bored.
Yeah, Infection. I found like I was never a big fan of Infection, but like recently after I got the whole strategy down and staying alive, I'm definitely staying in there for a little bit longer. But no, I can see that. But I mean, maybe you might like SWAT a little bit. But no, I can see you're more into Call of Duty, aren't you?
I do enjoy SWAT, and it's because it's a faster paced game. But for the most part, I am into Call of Duty. Although I wasn't in love with Modern Warfare 2 because I felt that Modern Warfare 1 was better, and I didn't buy Black Ops because I was at school and strapped for cash. So I'm looking forward to Battlefield, hoping that it's the happy medium here.
Hopefully. I'm hearing some really weird things about it so far, about like the different class systems and everything.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of worried, but I got my fingers crossed that DICE has this down. I'm really interested to see the sales of Call of Duty versus Battlefield, because Call of Duty isn't getting the advertisement that it had last year with Black Ops.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing, because Black Ops sold as many copies as it did. It made a lot of people wonder how much farther Call of Duty could actually go before it started going downhill, because you can only sell to so many people before you've sold to everybody ever that will buy your game.
And then even then, people will get bored. There's no denying that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that this is the year that Call of Duty starts to go down. And the only reason that I'm hoping so is so that it pushes the developers to create a better game instead of just putting out the same game over and over again, tweaked with different skins.
I'd have to say that Activision is more listening than Infinity Ward, because Black Ops is so much of a better game than Modern Warfare 2 or World at War. And it goes almost back to how good Modern Warfare 1 was when it first came out. But still, yeah, I'd like to see some changes, but they are definitely improving.
See, and I'm not a Call of Duty guy. You will not find a Call of Duty game on my gamer tag if you look through all my games. But I don't know. Like I've always said that I don't play the game because of my stance on. I don't feel like these developers are doing that great of a job. So I would rather vote with my wallet and say, hey, you'll get a sale from me when you guys make a outstanding game. Because I was still in Halo mode when Call of Duty 4 came out, so I didn't care about Call of Duty 4. But apparently Modern Warfare 3 developers are really kind of concerned over Battlefield 3, because this is the first time that a game has actively tried to fight off Modern Warfare or Call of Duty in general right now.
Yeah.
And it's threatening to them, because everyone's because you can say people who are vocal against Call of Duty are always vocal against Call of Duty, but now they're not only vocal against Call of Duty, but they're also praising another game that's coming out pretty much on the heels of it.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that this is the kind of the slope that's all right, well, people are going to start looking at this game. All right, you know what? Let's get some competition in there and start fighting these people. But either way, Battlefield is a great quality game, and I would like to see that game thrive regardless.
I think it's about time that it steps up, too, and it looks like it's going to.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure if I'm going to buy Battlefield immediately. I might wait till a break to buy it, but it looks interesting.
You'll get it eventually, though. What else? I think that's all for news coming around. Has anyone been interested in that HP touchpad?
Oh yeah, it's only $100, right?
It's $100 for a 16 gig and $150 for a 32 gig.
Yeah, I might be interested in one.
You better look soon then. Those things are going to be gone probably by next week.
It's going to matter if I really want to spend the money or save that money for college stuff.
Yeah, it's a decent tablet though. I was talking to Sam about this, and they were complaining how they don't want to invest into a tablet that's not going to be supported. But it's for a tablet that's 32 gigs, I could throw some MP3s on and just lounge around and look at the look at the internet and stuff. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's not bad. I still feel like tablets are for the niche market of people who don't want to just buy a laptop. And I feel like even though the people that I feel like shouldn't be buying them are buying them and enjoying them, I still just I can't see myself buying a tablet when I have a laptop here that I could use. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, let me just say something about tablets real quick. Let's just say, you're in college. You need to go to class and you need to get out your stuff real fast to take notes. With an iPad, you bring it up, swipe, it unlocks, go to Word, which Microsoft has Word on iPads, I believe, or Pages or something like that you can get. You have your keyboard dock, plug it in, take notes real quick, and it goes away really fast. It's nice and small. It's a really convenient tool, and I can see definitely the use of it.
That and the fact with 3G, it's much more portable than a laptop is, even so.
You're right. I brought my laptop to school, and it does take a second to get going. But I found at my school in particular, there was an internet, sign-in thing that you have to do, like when you go to the freaking library and try to use the free Wi-Fi, and then you have to click the I accept the terms and conditions and everything each time. And so on a tablet, I would have to type in, on any device, I would have to type in my username and password. So wouldn't it be easier to do that on a laptop than on a tablet?
But you don't have to do it on a tablet that's 3G, because 3G is completely different from Wi-Fi.
You can use that, but
if you're trying to use your 3G,
you wouldn't have to sign in school's network.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not too hard to get used to tablet typing. I know it was hard for me. Like the first day I got my iPhone, it was like it blew my mind. I missed every key every time I tried to push one, but like after a week, I can type it fine. Even if it freezes, I can still type it, and then when it unfreezes, all the words will be correctly spelled and everything. But seriously, I think the one way that'll get you to go like, oh, okay, I need this, lounge around with an iPad and look at Netflix for a little bit. Netflix on the iPad's pretty badass.
I could see that.
It's in the battery life.
I'm thinking about getting an iPad for my birthday.
Yeah, the battery life on the iPad's ridiculous also.
I'm saving up for the new iPod or iPhone 5 when that comes out in what should hopefully be October, right?
That's weird that it's not out now.
I know. I'm dying.
I haven't heard anything about the iPhone 5, so I doubt it's going to be out in October.
They haven't even announced it yet.
No, that's what Apple does.
It's famous for
that's what Apple does
after it's announced. So who knows?
They're gonna they hold like a handheld device conference in September. They've done it for 3 years, and there they announce all their new iPod stuff. And usually, last year I think they announced. I don't remember. They announced the iPhone 4 in June last year.
In
June, yeah. But usually they do iPod stuff, and since they didn't announce it in June this year, which was anticipated because they had released on Verizon earlier in the first quarter, everybody's expecting for them to release a new iteration of the iPhone now and kind of get on track to do that every September. But the piece that's unclear upon that is whether or not it's going to be an iPhone 5 or, like an iPhone 4S or 4GS or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
I'm here.
And, the difference being one would actually be a huge hardware and design upgrade, and the other would be just a small upgrade that kind of keeps things going along.
I'm hearing that it's going to be a full-on redesign.
I'm hoping for that. And that would make a lot of sense because there was so much controversy about the antenna structuring on the iPhone 4, even though I'd like to go on record here and point out that every phone has an antenna, and if you hold your hand over that antenna, it will not get as good reception as it did when your hand wasn't there, which is what everybody was pointing out was wrong with the iPhone 4.
All right,
it's kind of,
All right, we are 29 minutes into this call. I'm going to send this over to Sam. I've talked to Sam many times, and he argued that every time he held the iPhone 4, that the signal will go away. And I told him no. That it happens if you hold it such a specific way, and you have to hold it so hard.
Did they fix that? I believe that they gave newer models that's gone, and that won't happen. That's what I've heard.
They did that, and then they also gave out rubber bumpers to get your hand away from that.
And yeah, it's true. Every single phone has that. I don't know, looking into an iPhone maybe, because I get to change my phone this December, and so I'm thinking about it.
I have a 3GS, and I still love it. My cover recently, I've had a cover screen on it, since I had it, back in January 2010, and it recently just fell off after being used for basically a year and a half. And I look at it; it looks brand new right now. It's great.
Yeah, the one thing, like, I have an Android phone right now, and I love it to death. The only thing that annoys me about it is that it has a piss-poor battery, with that, and sometimes it'll last 2 days straight, and some days it won't even last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Have you closed all your apps? I
have a task killer that I always use before I put my phone to sleep. I kill all tasks.
Okay, because my iPhone is not getting too great a battery, but that's because of the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is killing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll pay attention to the battery. They seem to pay attention to the battery quite a bit more than most.
It gets progressively better.
Designers, exactly. So I'm hoping that they'll keep it up to par with the iPhone 4, and if they do, then there shouldn't be any problems.
Oh, I would love a 64 gig iPhone.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. Like, if I'm going to spend the money, I'm getting the highest model, right?
Yeah, because I might end up booting up because I have an iPhone, but I don't have any service on it. I just use a one of those like text apps. But I figure if I go balls out with the iPhone 5, I'm gonna go balls out with it and get the biggest storage space. 16 gigs is not cutting it.
That I don't have a micro SD card in my phone, and I need to go get that tomorrow.
You should do that.
Because I think my phone only has like 32 megabytes of space without one.
Oh, wow.
So speaking of iPhone, anyone out there before while this is happening, Rage and Rage HD are for free for right now on the iPhone. Go download those. I downloaded both of them, but they're both too big for my iPhone right now. I don't have enough room. So I'm looking forward to playing those one day.
One day when you have a new phone.
Yeah, that's another reason. Like, I have so many. I've been using OfferedApp.com, which is basically you do a survey and you get an app. Like, you get one gifted to you. And
sweet.
I got Hot Pursuit. I got Cut the Rope, Chinatown Wars, Tiny Wings, Cover Orange. I've got like so many of these premium apps. It's taken up so many space. I've had to delete like paid apps that I've had. So I'm playing a lot of iPhone games though. They're pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I'm finding myself becoming more and more of a portable gamer.
And see, I wouldn't say that because I wouldn't say that before because I have a DSi and I have a PSP, and while I love them both, I don't play them as much on my iPhone.
I'm the exact opposite. I don't play any games on my Android, and if I do want to play a portable game, I'll play it on my 3DS.
You don't buy games on your phone though, do you?
No, I have not bought one game on my Android, and if I do get a game, it's a free game, and I only play it for at the max 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, see, the paid apps are a lot more like robust.
Yeah. I mean, as of now, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
As of now, the Apple App Store is definitely still better than the Android store.
Oh yeah, by far it's so much better.
Android is making its way up here and slowly building, and there will come a day, I am the Mac fanboy saying this, there will come a day when the Android and Google and whatnot all surpasses the iPhone, and from that day on, it will all be better than the iPhone. And that's not to say that Apple won't be putting out amazing products still, but it's just what's happening. They're releasing their OS on as many devices as will take it, and it's just a matter of time until the market switches over to the other side.
See, but
I personally love the Android OS, and I find it to be a lot better than the iPhones. Though the only thing that makes me not like the Androids and makes me almost want to switch over to an iPhone is again the battery life on my phone and on phones other Android phones I see. They really need to fix that battery life issue. And if they do, I'm never going to buy an Apple phone ever again.
The only issue that I find with Android is that the phone compatibility kind of kills it at times. Like, I know I've had friends who've had complications getting a Netflix app on their Android because their phone did not run the Netflix app.
Yeah, that's the other piece.
I've heard about that. Like, I know the Droid 2 can't run Netflix. I know that.
Yeah, and that's the, it's a double-edged sword at this point. Yes, they, as I said, they release on as many platforms as will take them, as many distributors, and makers of phones that will put Android on their devices that take them, they'll be, yeah, go ahead. But the problem being is now you have so many different model phones running all this different stuff that whenever you release a new version of the OS, it has to work on every single phone. Whenever you release an app, it has to work on every phone. It's a lot more work for developers, that's for sure.
But that also makes me think, all right, if I get an iPhone 4, pretty much every game on the App Store can run on this thing.
Exactly.
The only thing I don't like about Apple's system is the only one is that I only get one choice. With Android, I can get HTC Sense, I can get the Droid 2 OS. There's many different versions of the OS, and so if you don't necessarily like the standard Droid 2 OS, you can go to HTC Sense or something like that, which is different, but it's different enough that it's a whole new experience. And so I do like that kind of choice that I get with Android, that I have a lot more choices in terms of what I can get.
Yeah,
well, exactly. And it just goes back and forth in the circle there. It's a lot better for the consumer to be able to pick the model that they enjoy, but then they get home and realize that they can't run X, Y, and Z apps because the phone dimensions and specs don't run it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I could see that there's room in the market for both of them, though, since they're both...
Oh, there definitely is. Yeah, it's just like Mac and Windows, there's always going to be multiple companies competing, and that's a good thing. That's never going to be a bad thing, and obviously they'll both continue to make excellent phones. It's just a matter of which one comes out on top.
Yeah. All right, so, and I've also been having this back and forth debate for the last, week or two. Chris, what do you think of what do you think of iPhone or Android overtaking the dedicated handhelds?
So you're saying having companies like Sony and Nintendo put games out on them?
Do you think that iPhone will eventually force Nintendo and PS? Sony's taking strides with Xperia Play, but do you think Nintendo might be forced out of the handheld because they are making dedicated stuff, whereas iPhone, anyone could do it, and it seems to have a bigger market?
There's a potential for it. I think that there will always be gamers like, us that care too much about companies and original titles like Mario and whatnot to ever stop buying a Nintendo product over an iPhone or, Android product. But it's definitely been shown time and time again that if you put out a 99-cent app, you're going to get a hell of a lot more downloads than if you put out a $35 game.
Yeah.
And I think that there's definitely room for both. I could see there coming a day when Nintendo or Sony isn't making enough money to put out a handheld console. But I think that us as gamers, hardcore gamers, it's kind of down to us to decide whether or not we want to support the games that we want to support, or if we'd rather just be playing Cut the Rope and Angry Birds.
You've heard about the Pokemon game coming to iOS, right?
I have not.
I believe it's only in the Japan store at the moment, but there is a Pokemon rhythm game on iOS made by Game Freak.
I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Once the Pokemon RPG comes out on the iPhone, I will buy an iPhone and I will play that for hours.
See, and that's the thing is, Nintendo investors are pressuring Nintendo and throwing their franchises on the iPhone. And that's what begs the question: at what point, is Nintendo? Because the Wii U is pretty much is teetering on either being as successful as the Wii or it's gonna flop and be a Dreamcast.
Well, sadly, in my opinion, it's going to flop. But I don't want it to.
I think it's been announced way too early, and that Nintendo should wait for what Sony and Microsoft are going to do, because Sony and Microsoft have not talked one bit about what they're going to do next.
Well,
generation.
they can't wait though. Nintendo is losing money on the Wii. The Wii is not the cash cow anymore. They were hoping that the 3DS would be the DS success, but it's not. It's basically looking pretty grim right now to them, and that's what they're saying is that so investors are saying, you know what, we need to make some money, so throw these franchises on the iPhone, but Nintendo is hesitant to because, at what point do you say, all right, well, I'll just get Pokemon on the iPhone rather than just pay for a whole handheld and then pay for the game afterwards.
Well, I'm no, market expert or anything, but if it were up to me on something like this, I think you're right. I think that the Wii U was announced too early, and that ideally Nintendo would have enough time to sit back and wait and see where Microsoft and Sony wanted to go with their next consoles, and then follow in those footsteps. Nintendo likes to make new things. They're sort of, if you'll allow the analogy, they're sort of like the Apple of the industry, I feel like. They like to kind of add their own spin onto stuff, and that has worked out really well for them lately, but obviously it's starting to go downhill. And I think that it might be time for them to sit back and kind of see what somebody else is doing and take a note for once. And, there will come another day when they release another system that blows everybody's minds and everybody needs to have, but it seems as of now they don't have the money to go out on a limb like they used to.
Yeah, they kind of missed the boat. I think they waited. They sat a little bit too long on the 3DS, and they didn't wait long enough for the Wii U, because first of all, if they had launched Pokemon Black and White on 3DS, none of these problems would have been happening. They should have waited for that.
I admit that was, Pokemon Black and White was released what?
That was pretty much the last game on the DS.
It came out right around PAX, didn't it?
It came out, I think, almost like a week.
It came out in April or March.
Yeah, the 3DS was out
end of March, and the 3DS came out
in May,
beginning of April. And so, that's what were you doing?
Yeah, they should have pushed that back.
But either way, they're going to catch shit from somebody, because they waited and released Twilight Princess on the Wii instead of just on GameCube. And then everybody bitched that it felt like they were playing a GameCube game.
Well, yeah, but at that point, that's also because Twilight Princess was announced in 2004, and it was made for GameCube. They could have not said anything about Pokemon Black and White, and people would have thought, because if anything, announcing Pokemon Black and White for the DS was more of a what? Because that was the first time. Yeah, that was the first time two separate whole generation of Pokemon, new generation of Pokemon, have been on the same platform. On the Game Boy, you had the first generation. On the Game Boy Color, you had the second. Game Boy Advance, third, DS, and now on the DS, you had fourth and the fifth. It's gonna
yes, you're right. It does make a lot of sense, and that's a good point. Is that if the 3DS had launched with Ocarina of Time out on launch day, and had launched, Star Fox still hasn't come out, but if it had Star Fox, Ocarina of Time, and the new Pokemon games,
and then follow it up,
sold at least twice as many units as they did.
Yeah, and follow it up with the Super Mario game that's coming out a couple months later.
And follow it up with Kid Icarus, and yeah, you're right. It would have made a lot more sense to actually plan out the 3DS launch a little more than they did. And
a price at whatever $170 to $199 would have been fine.
Yeah.
So they also missed the pricing on that too. There was a lot of botched stuff that happened. I think Nintendo got a little bit too cocky and they had to drop the price. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see Nintendo, because I think Sony and Microsoft are pretty well off to handle whatever else is coming at them.
I love how Microsoft's just completely staying out of the handheld market, and they're just doing fine with their 360.
Yeah, pretty much. They got Windows Phone 7, but it doesn't even matter. They don't need to do any of that, and they're fine. But remember, Nintendo has only games on them, so.
Yeah, true.
So we'll see how that goes. All right, we're about 45 minutes. We'll wrap it up here. What games are you guys playing? We'll wrap it up with that.
Halo Reach, basically it.
That's it? That's your whole spiel?
I've been playing this summer various MMORPGs, just reliving my childhood.
That's it.
Damn. Me and my friends have recently gotten back in. Well, I shouldn't say back. I was never into Mega Man, but we discovered my friend's collection of old PlayStation 1 games, and we've been playing the Mega Man X's. So we played X4 first, beat that in a couple of nights, and then decided that we were going to buy the X collection on PlayStation 2. And we've been playing through the X's, when we all have some free time. That's been a lot of fun. as well as I've been playing some Skate 1 on my Xbox because I just remembered how great that game is. So I'm feeling some game nostalgia, I guess, and going back and playing some older games that, I loved.
Yeah. How is Skate? Because I never got into Skate, but I was a big Tony Hawk fan back in the day.
I played Tony Hawk. I remember I had Tony Hawk on my N64. I had the original, and I loved that game, although I was god-awful at it. But Skate really doesn't compare to Tony Hawk at all, except for following the fact that it's a skate game. I'm sure you've heard about the way that the game's controlled with what they call the flick-it controls, which is using the right analog stick to kind of move in the order of directions that you would if you were to actually do a trick on a skateboard. So to do an ollie, you would just crack the stick back towards you and then up away from you, and that would, make your character do an ollie. So then to do a kickflip, you'd go back towards you and off to the right, and that would make him flip the board, heel flip, to the side, and vice versa for the opposing trick. So it's a lot more intuitive as far as the way that the controls work, and it's got a much steeper learning curve than Tony Hawk, where when you start, you have no idea what you're doing, but then you get pretty good at it in a reasonably quick time frame.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. They actually just barely shut down the servers online to have people playing online for Skate, which is too bad. But it is a pretty old game, so.
All right, I might check that out eventually. It should be in the bargain bins by now.
Oh yeah, I think it's selling for $9.99, although it might be $19. I'm not sure.
Skate 1 or Skate 2?
Skate 1. In my opinion, Skate 1 is the best of the three because there is 3 games out. Well, 3 on Xbox. Although each game adds new tricks and new places to skate and kind of a new way to play the game, I feel as though the first one had the physics down the best and feels the most correct when you're playing.
All right, I'll definitely check that out.
Really good.
I'll look for that when I get some extra money, because I've been looking for. I was thinking about going for a more skate game. It's been a while.
Give it a shot. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, for sure. And besides Halo, I haven't been doing anything. I should have a Bastion. I'm going to cover a bunch of games as soon as I figure out the rest of the website. It should be done by tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to have basically all the rest of the Summer of Arcade reviews on top of other game reviews out there. Hopefully that all works out. Let's pimp some stuff here. All right, give out your Twitter name, Jeff.
At Deep Resurrect.
There you go. And then Chris.
I'm ItsAllGoodie. Just as you would think it's spelled, all lowercase, no spaces. Goodie with an I-E, not a Y.
Yes, and I'm Adrian.
Resurrect is spelled wrong. It's R-E-S-U-R-E-C-T.
You need to change that name to Dances with Cows if that's available on. I should say, okay, so wait, let's go on a quick tangent here. So what would your gamer tag was Froshman with like an A as
German Frogman. I always thought it was a stupid gamer tag, but I was too lazy to change it.
Yeah, and so
I think it was 2 nights ago I decided to change it. Adrian convinced me to change it to Dances with Cows.
Because we were looking through for a bunch of different gamer tags, and they were all the clever ones were taken, but I started thinking, all right, Dances with Wolves, and I looked for Dances with Cats, Dances with Dogs, Dances with I think Rats, and then Dances with Cows wasn't taken. So I think
Cows is the best of the 4.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
And he was, and Jeff was so hesitant. He's like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, that's such a funny name. That's a good name.
It's unique and it's memorable. I would say you should totally switch all your stuff up to that.
I already did.
He already did. He finally, and then afterwards, like he's like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And then when it finally changed over, when his tag updated in Halo Reach, he's like, all right, never mind. I think that's funny. So, oh, by the way, we also played with the gamer tag the other night called A Million Gay Jews.
Ooh.
Someone really got that gamer tag with all the correct letters in it too.
I was playing Uno on my Xbox against somebody whose name was Poop in My Mouth.
I played against a guy named Captain Autism.
People, I can't understand how these people would ever, like, say, whenever their Xbox breaks, you have to give the person on support your gamer tag. I don't get how these people ever do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
ridiculous.
So I have to do it. Hey, how you doing? What's your gamer tag? Dances with cows.
It's a good gamer tag, though.
Well, that's funny. Mine used to be Mad Cow, spelled with a K.
That's a good. There you go. So.
So it's kind of funny that you also have a cow gamer tag, I guess.
Now my reach tag is moo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? Perfect.
All right, that was a good tangent. I'm Adrian XHD. I was going to say something, but I totally lost my train of thought after that whole little thing. Yeah. Email us at palutenasarmy@gmail.com. Website should be back up and running. The ending song, I decided that I originally when we had the server crashes podcast, I was originally going to have Carson give me his Phoenix Wright cover, but he didn't do that, and now I found it again, so I'm just going to throw that at the end of this. And that is it. So thank you guys.
Thank you.